Hello and welcome to Prima Donna News. I appreciate your view and hope you like the video. Share it and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the content and leave plenty of comments below.
Now, what better way to demonstrate how I view these interviews that are being put on these platforms, being viewed by people like Homeland Security and the FBI when people volunteer certain information? We have seen Tasha K interfere so dramatically in R. Kelly's case, and now we have seen this interview with this sex worker who, again, reminds the public why I said a lot of these working women, aka prostitutes, are going to glorify their actions by now becoming a victim of sex trafficking by these so-called pimps who may not have recognized the strategy being carried out using Robert Kelly, but it don't take a genius to recognize why I side-eyed these people who not only gave them the platforms to incriminate themselves, but then try to play dumb when they don't know that the things that they're confessing to are crimes. But that's not just limited to the pimps, that's also including the prostitutes. But hey, people will want to again let them be the perfect little victims for them to build these cases. With that being said, in case you missed Tasha K's latest upload about the topic, I'll put it in the description and also on my community wall. Now we're going to go into the response from Pimpin, who a lot of people in the industry know, just like they know a lot of these other pimps who have been glorified and imitated by so many.
Good morning, everyone. This is Ken Ivy, a.k.a. Pimpin Ken. I woke up to a lot of people hitting me up in my inbox, hitting me up on email and in my text messages, asking me, is it true? Well, first of all, let me say this, that no, it's not true. I don't know the young lady that's in that video. Never met her in my life. She never mentioned my name. But Tasha K, who's the interviewer, who was interviewing the interviewee, which is the young lady, tried to, defame my name, defame Bishop's name, and to categorize us and lump us into a category where, we were allegedly still pimping. Now, I can't speak for nobody else, but one thing I can say for sure is that I backed up off the game like the OJs and spin up off the game like the Barcades. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't got a picture of a prostitute. I ain't got a picture of a hoe. I ain't got a picture of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm out here hustling solo dolo. The closest thing you're going to get to me having a bitch is my book, Pimpology, The 48 Laws of Game, and my other book, The Art of Human Chess.
Now, it's just strange to me these people with so much game can't see the blueprint that was laid out, considering these people may think that just because they got out the game, they can't be brought back into some indictments, especially when some of these working women come out and say they were being trafficked while under the age, considering we know there's no statute of limitations for underage victims.
I got out the game many, many years ago. And the reason why is because my daddy said I was a damn fool for doing pimps up, hoes down. My dad has since passed. He's deceased, but I didn't understand what he was saying. I said, Dad, I'm famous. Everybody's speaking my name. It's like I made it. He said, yeah, but everything you do now, son, you're going to be under a microscope. He said, real game is not transparent. If you can see it, it's not game. And he said, real bosses move in silence. He said, don't speak unless you can increase the silence. And I knew at that point that I made a terrible mistake. My dad used to say, it's better to be like fog than like an icicle. He said, because fog, you can see it, but you don't know what's going on with it because it's foggy. You don't know what's inside of it, you don't know what's outside, but you can see the icicle. It's plain as daylight.
Now that should put some context to when we hear these people on these platforms talking about smoke screens, because clearly they thought they were putting up the perfect distractions that some felt would take your focus off of the talking points that I gave all of the people watching my content that they wanted to dismiss because they wanted to keep people confused and distorted.
So at that point, I decided to change my life and take a different route. I formed my film company, and I did my first project was Pimpology, which you can see right now on my podcast, Pimpin podcast on YouTube for free. It's really like a part 2 to Pimps Up, Hoes Down. That's all I knew at the time. That's why only thing I can come up with, because Pimps Up, Hoes Down was a classic. People loved it. And, I wanted to mimic that because I wanted some money. And I did get 2 distribution deals with Scriptmaster and Southern Media Distribution. And I even had it online. I was streaming it in 1999 or 2000 before everybody knew what streaming was. I was one of the first streamers. I had to throw that little plug in. After that, I briefly got into the entertainment business, and I worked with Jermaine Dupri, Too Short, 50 Cent. I was on 2 of Lil Jon albums, 5 of Pimp C album, 5 of Pastor Troy album, Mac 10, Ice-T. I worked with a lot of people. So I had a good reason to get out the game, because I was making more money out the game than I was making in the game. And I didn't have to look behind my back, and I ain't had no police action. So me being out the game, unlike a lot of other people, who get out because, they stayed in too long, or they got old man time caught up with them. And, they wasn't the person that they was when they were younger, and they weren't able to do it like they used to do it. So the game pretty much took them out. That wasn't the case with me. I eventually moved on to a hip hop fraternity. But, for all my fans and my people out there, no, I'm not being indicted. No, I'm not being investigated for that, because that I know that I'm not doing. I don't have a picture of a hoe. I don't have a picture of a prostitute. I don't have a picture of a bitch. Only thing I have a picture of is my bank account, and I have a picture of my children. I have pictures of my mothers and my father, but I do not have a picture of a woman. Let's not have a woman. So let's get that clear. That's in the streets. To me, that's backwards. You know what I'm saying? This lady, Tasha K, she basically using clickbait, and she using Bishop and my name and associated with Virgil. So Virgil tell me that the woman, he knew her, but he didn't have nothing to do with her, that she came and he told her he wasn't interested in her. And because of that, she was disgruntled and she was upset, and she started a hate campaign on him. So she's out here talking about Virgil being indicted and all this. This is 2 years ago. If Virgil would have been indicted, he would have been in prison by now. I know how the feds work. So that's not true. Ain't no police action and none of that going down right now with Virgil. You know what I mean? And I ain't seen Virgil, Virgil 80 years old. I ain't seen him with nothing. I ain't seen him do nothing illegal. So I don't think that, he's doing nothing illegal. And if he is doing something illegal, I don't know nothing about it, So until I see something, that's my man. You know what I'm saying? Even if he is doing something, he's still my man, but I doubt if he is, But, of course, Bishop, I don't even know why she put Bishop name in that category. Bishop is a preacher. He's a bishop, although he's a preacher for the streets and he hang with the people. I doubt if Bishop got anything to do with that either, So we just have to be mindful that we can't just run with every story that we see, And, these people out here, they make money off of these YouTube videos. And that woman is smart. She's probably going to make a lot of money by indiscriminately putting our name in something where the lady don't even mention our name. Only time my name was mentioned, and if you listen to her voice, is when Tasha K mentioned our name. And she tried to lump everybody in the same category. But truth be told, that don't have nothing to do with Nora Bishop or myself. But, hey, nice try, Miss Tasha K. I know you're trying to get your money, but, you should think about people who have family and have businesses out here. And that's why I had my lawyer to send her on her DM. He gave me a letter, a cease and desist 2 years ago. So this is not only BS, but it's old BS. It's over 2 years ago, and she put it out as though it's alive. That alone should let y'all know that this woman is deceptive and she's manipulative, and she's trying to manipulate and deceive everybody into believing that, there's some type of big feds extravaganza and that Bishop, Big Virgil, and Pimpin is connected to it. So that's my response. The only way I respond because so many people was hitting me up about it to the point where I feel that I had to make some type of statement. And I had to, let people know that, whatever's going on, it don't have nothing to do with me. I don't know nothing about nothing. And like I said, I never met this young lady. I never seen her. She said something about some underage. Well, she looked a little old to me. You know what I'm saying? She might be older than she looked, but definitely I don't know her, So why she And she never mentioned my name, so that's self-explanatory. So I say, please go watch the video. I know I'm gonna help her get some money, but watch the video all the way through, and you will see that the woman is not talking about me. She's talking about Virgil, but Virgil saying that she's just disgruntled and she's upset about something, and she's trying to lump his name in there. So
now, clearly the point is very clear. A lot of these people within the industry, they see the tactics that Tasha K uses in order to get her platform to rise in numbers and generate money. So when it comes to R. Kelly's lawsuit against her and the BOP and all of the things that we witnessed playing out that absolutely affected the process within his case, it's very hypocritical for these celebrities who, again, know certain pieces of information that the general public would not have been privy to, but wanted to sit back quietly and skip that a lot of these characters that even they birthed derive from this pimpin' mentality that they wanted to convince us Robert Kelly was doing to these girls. It is not against the law to have multiple girlfriends, but this man was demonized because they were able to distort these allegations and surround the narratives with this man is preying on minors, which is the point that I'm demonstrating when it comes to these prostitutes, these working women who could have a vendetta against these people they coined as their pimps. Wait till all these years pass, and then all of a sudden we're supposed to entertain their notions of being trafficked as a minor, and nobody will say anything about the hypocrisy we see on display. That would be equivalent to feeling some type of way about Tasha K, but nothing about all of these producers, acting coaches, talent scouts, etc., who provided these people for surviving R. Kelly. At the end of the day, people can act oblivious to all of the lies that were exposed against this cast and the people who frontlined all of these accusations claiming their daughters were being held hostage, they were sex slaves, etc., and then running to YouTube and exposing everybody, but then trying to form these alliances with people to harass the people like me who could see past all the smoke screens they put up and even have a skeptical approach when it comes to the effort being presented now. For example, when we see a lot of commotion around Robert Kelly, the first thing I tell you to do is go check the paperwork, because clearly these smoke screens they tried to devise aren't as effective as they originally thought. And the more I come on my platform, the more I'm going to challenge you to see all the corruption that played out against Robert Kelly that all these throwback pimps should have stood up against, especially if they don't want these individuals who they say are disgruntled to come back and manipulate this age factor and present to the government that they were minors being trafficked, which gives them that open window to bring back stuff from people's way past. Somebody make this shit make sense.
2021, R. Kelly was convicted in a New York federal court, but not without controversy. The charges? Racketeering and sex trafficking, tied to a decades-long pattern of alleged abuse. But critics argue the trial wasn't fair. Allegations surfaced of government overreach, witness coaching, and questionable tactics. Some say prosecutors relied on shaky testimony and turned a trial into a spectacle. Others defend the case, pointing to the voices of 11 accusers who described years of manipulation. The result: guilty on all counts and a 30-year sentence. Was it justice or a case clouded by misconduct? The debate continues. R. Kelly's legacy remains shattered, but the truth, still hotly contested. We value your opinions and encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Your feedback is essential in fostering engaging discussions and improving our content. Don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, and share it with others who might be interested. Subscribe to our channel for more insightful clips, ensuring you stay updated with our latest content. We appreciate your support.
There's a tasty new treat on the scene, and it's called Prima Donna pastries. These dainty pastries are not just a pretty face. They're filled with sweet and savory goodness. Freshly baked and oh so inviting, these pastry delights will satisfy any craving. Don't miss out on the heavenly taste of Prima Donna pastries. Try them now. Order today at www.primadonnapastries.com.